All right, what's going on, everyone? Happy Monday. Good to be here. Oh shit, I forgot my coffee. It's like I always need like an extra coffee about now. As you can tell, I'm here in WeWork. We've got, we went 100% virtual, like a lot of folks during COVID, and but we still have a little small office up here, so it's kind of nice to get out of the house. I do love my home office though, so it's kind of tough to be like, I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that, where you're like, yeah, and I'm pulling up LinkedIn. If you see me looking at this screen over here, um, you know, it's like it's kind of great, right? Having the home office, etc. Um, so I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, and yeah, I'm looking forward to uh, catching up with everyone today. Let's get into it. Where's Jake? And I'm excited for the conversation. We're going to talk about all my hacks for ChatGPT. If you don't know, I talk about this stuff a lot. I actually have a um, testing. Perplexity is my new favorite. Yeah, a lot of people are into Perplexity right now. I think what a lot of people like, I'm just calling it Raj, called out Perplexity. We've got a client I was with actually last week. They use Perplexity Pro. Um, you know, what I'll say is this. Either way, whether any of the, again, I just use ChatGPT because they have custom GPTs. And that's something that still these other models don't have. And custom GPTs allow you to program very specific use cases. So, we've got our own custom GPTs, obviously. But, it's really, you can't use custom GPTs on any of the other ones. So, like, it's all like one big model and you can put some instructions on it, but I can't say like, hey, this one's really good at just discovery prep. And it's already been pre-programmed to know like its job is discovery prep. So consistently, that's why if you're out there trying other models, I love it. But custom GPTs are what matters most, in my opinion. So as usual, if you're joining us, let's see, let me pull this up real quick. Let us know where you're joining from. I always get a kick out of seeing, usually we've got a pretty international group, so maybe we'll have some Olympic drama going on in here, like the Canadian women's soccer team. Like, you don't think you're going to get caught using a drone? That's kind of interesting. So USA men's basketball won yesterday. I was a big fan of that. So today I'm going to talk about my favorite ways to use ChatGPT. Again, if you like Perplexity or you like another model, amazing. Insert Claude, insert Gemini, insert Perplexity for, for GPT. A lot of the things I'm going to talk about will be, you know, applicable as a part of it. So again, I want a lot of you, the reason, again, I go back to ChatGPT is it has custom GPTs. And if you have not messed around with the custom GPTs in ChatGPT, you are definitely missing out. All right, Todd said our girls rugby team is on fire. All right, I'll have to check that out. Yeah, I did actually watch some of that. I think it was China versus somebody else. It's pretty intense. My son is like, it had never, my son's 9 on rugby, and he goes, he's like, what is this sport? He's like, is this like football? It's like, well, if you combine rugby and soccer and others, like that's how we have football. He's like, can you explain rugby to me? And I go, we have to like watch a game. So there you go, Todd. Good shout out. The key that I want to talk about when it comes to using ChatGPT in sales in particular is that this is about humans and generative AI. And I think what happens with a lot of organizations is many people have difficulty either taking the first step, or they've tried it, it didn't have the outcomes that they were hoping for, so then they shy back away and they kind of go into their little bubble. And that with a lot of these, again, why I try to focus on in a lot of my content specific ways to use it is because that's kind of how our brain works. Like our brain likes boxes, right? Our brain likes the idea of like, hey, because I think the tough part is with generative AI, and again, because we're still so not used to using it, is we get overwhelmed really quickly. And again, like we've just grown up with the internet and we don't remember that, when search first came out and it wasn't that good, it was kind of overwhelming. Like you had to like search through like really bad stuff and like, is this even helping me? Is this wasting more time? I could just, ask somebody and it take a day. So this is just an evolution. And so I think for a lot of you, if you're nervous, you're not getting the results, it's totally normal. And so what I found, time over time again here, is that the people that are winning aren't worried about, and I've used this analogy before, so if you've heard it, you can borrow it. It's that, saying what's our chat GPT or perplexity or generative AI strategy as a sales org is daunting. It's like saying, what's our internet strategy? Like, how are we going to use the internet as a company? And let's spend all this time like thinking about, for our sales team or our marketing team or our finance or whatever, how we're going to use the internet. That's daunting. Like, if you really take a step back and think about like how different groups use the internet, like, it's daunting. And I think that is the number one issue with generative AI, is we're taking this like, what's our internet strategy approach, and we're saying, what's our generative AI strategy? And then people are immediately like, hold, I don't know, like it can do a bunch of stuff. Like, and so what we're going to dive into today is, look, it's been over a year now since, myself, obviously my good friend Kevin Dorsey, we've been, spending a lot of time on this stuff too, really started going deep. And what I'm going to share with you now is out of all the use cases, and I've got a whole shit ton in here for you, okay? Um, and I got a lot of different use cases for you, so it'll be helpful. The thing I'm going to do too is, oh, this is sweet. I didn't know we had this live. We've got this little checklist for you, so go take a look at this new thing we just dropped. Like I said, hey, if you're just joining, let me know where you're joining from. Like I said, we've got a pretty international audience. The chat's a little quiet today. Let's get the chat going a little bit. If you've got use cases that you're loving for generative AI, go check that out. I just dropped in the chat the GenAI checklist that we came up with. So 100% free. Go check it out. It's pretty badass as a part of that. Also, and we've got an episode this Monday, so you can do that. Detroit-ish, Michigan. There we go. I just finished watching Receivers, so I was watching the Detroit's run last year. Also, if you're watching this, you're probably also into AI. If you haven't subscribed to me and KD's series, it's free. It's every other Wednesday. We actually have an episode this Wednesday. Make sure to join that session. So every other Wednesday, me and Kevin Dorsey, we talk about trends in generative AI and ChatGPT. So make sure to join those. Western North Carolina is in the house. What's up, David? My wife's family is from Wilmington. So I don't know if that's near where you are, but Wilmington is where we go a few times a year. So let's get into it. Enough of the chit chat. Let's get into SDRs. Okay, so I'm going to talk, I think a lot of people, one of the first use cases that we think about, and I'm going to drop in for SDRs, right? So the very first strategies, and I'm going to copy and paste some things in here as well. So we're going to call this SDRs. And this could also just, this could be just SDRs. I'm going to put this in here. So if you're watching this later, prospecting AEs, right? So we've got a lot more of our clients that's their world. So what are some use cases here? And again, I'm just going to break it down. So number one is speed up research. Okay, that's great, right? And specifically, I'm going to talk about two types of research. Okay, research on a company and an industry. There is absolutely no reason why you can't sound like an expert about a company or in an industry right now. So I can say, hey, ChatGPT, I'm really trying to book a meeting with Okta. I don't really understand their business. Teach me about their business via a 8-question trivia game to get up to speed on what they do, what their annual report talks about, etc. So it can really speed up the research process. And this is where I encourage a lot of you. What you do is you go get a little sticky note or something, and you just put it here. And instead of going to Google, the thing says, go to ChatGPT first or insert whatever. And what I want you to do when it comes to research in particular is do not go to Google first. Go to ChatGPT and tell it exactly what you want to do. Say, I'm trying to book a meeting. This is what it is. Teach me about this company. I don't know what the hell SSO is. Teach me what the hell SSO is. And literally within like 5 minutes, it can summarize research that would have taken me 2 hours. And this is the value, is that summary of speeding up research. The next thing, and this is gonna, again, I'm going to call this one, I call this one the triad, or maybe like the I need to come up with like an acronym for it. Okay, the triad is all that matters if you want to personalize message. So that's the other use case. So the triad is, ready for it? Industry trends, sliced by role at the company you're trying to book a meeting with, sliced by how you support these two. So, all right, I just typed it there in the chat. This is what I call the Trinity, which is why people take meetings today. I think I was in Brazil. There's a company called Me Time. At Me Time, I'll drop them. You can go check out what they're doing. They put out a lot of good content, and their data validates this. Me Time, quick shout out. And they found that what is working in sequences today is relevancy. Do you know, hey, you sell into human resources. Do I know okay, and you're at a company that is in publishing. Okay, so industry trends, what are trends in publishing right now? What are the things that are happening for that company? Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and then what are trends in HR? I sell to talent acquisition leaders. So what are trends in publishing for talent acquisition leaders specifically? And then how do we address the trends happening in publishing and specifically to HR leaders with what we do? So if you want to personalize your message, this is how you do it. Again, I've had enough companies now at this point test these other tools that are like your disc profile. Dude, I don't care. Like I prefer direct communication. Hey, guess what? 9 times out of 10, you know what like high level decision makers persona is? They prefer direct communication. Spoiler alert. So if you're like, man, I wonder how they want to prefer to be communicated with. In 2024, like most of this population is like, I want to be communicated with directly. Like, I mean, I guess like who actually picks like in like, soft stuff. So anyway, that's just some food for thought for you all around the SDR use case, speeding up research, personalize, think the triad. And again, it can do this in 1 minute. So it's super, super helpful. Okay, so I already talked a little bit about the research use case. So now let me shout out for my AEs real quick. All right, only 2 of you. We got 30, 40 people in here now. What's going on, everyone? Again, Leo, direct and to the point, guys. You don't need to do a disc profile to know that executives want direct and to the point. Okay, so I already talked about one of the use cases for my AEs, which is speeding up research. So discovery call prep. Okay, if you, man, we have a custom GPT called discovery call prep that is absolutely insane. Like it literally, and here's a couple of things that we're doing. You can just go check them out, and even if you don't want to, subscribe to them, like you can go check out like how we're thinking about this stuff. Which is it just says, great, give me a link to the company. And if you don't have a sheet already, this is a cheat for all of you, by the way. Every single one of you, instead of having to enter in your company, what you do, your buyer personas, you create a template. And do me a favor, just drop in the comments a why. If you just drop a why in the comments, I will have my team get you the template. And so then that way you don't have to start the prompts with like what you do. It'll already just like know what you do. So then you just feed the custom GPT a link. It says, it knows its job is discovery prep, but man, let's say you're on the go. What I love too is, if you all don't know, the ChatGPT mobile app has voice. So like, hey, I've got a meeting coming up with, I pop up in the discovery call prep, custom GPT. Hey, I'm ready to get started. I got a meeting coming up with his company, blah, blah, blah. It already knows how to pull together discovery prep. Garrett, I got you. Todd, I got you. Just keep dropping the whys in there, and then I will make sure our team hops in and we get you that, because you want to fill out the cheat sheet once and then you just literally upload it. It makes life easier. So getting up to speed on the company, that's the same as like the SDR use case to some extent. All right, Paul, I got you. Jen, I got you. And again, I'll have my team DM this to you all today, tomorrow. Michael, hey, what's going on, Michael? FYI, I got your email. Michael sent me an email. He's looking to do some cool stuff, so not a problem. We'll hook you up. So the AE use case is, if you scroll up, you'll be able to see it in the comments. later stage deal prep. So I love it to think about like, hey, I've got a meeting coming up with so and so, and this kind of goes into the second one, which is like role playing, etc. Um, I love it for late stage deals. Hey, I've got a meeting coming up with the CFO. We sell a product. Here's a link to our products, so our champions marketing. I know we've got another custom GPT. If you go check out the link, called Competitive Deal Winner, and it's like, great, who's the competition, and then like, what are the three value props that I can talk about, for those individuals, right? And so I can say, okay, I got a meeting. I usually sell to marketing. I'm worried the CFO is this. This is who we're competing against. What are the top two ways I should position us against the competition? And what are two or three things I should avoid that they're maybe stronger at? And because it's the CFO, help me to make sure I put these in the frame of ROI delivery, right? So there is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't, be doing that. Gianluca, I got you, man. Michelle, I got you. We'll make sure you guys get the template. I think we've got it. I don't know if it's on the website yet. We've got it for free, but if not, we can make sure we put it out there. Okay, so that's the other one. Think late stage deal prep. I don't know about you. I used to do this like in the middle of the night, or before a meeting, you're kind of like, okay, so this is this. What do I want to do? Okay, I got this idea. What do I want to do? Like now I just go straight to ChatGPT. So that is my hack for you for closing more deals. Okay, Martin, I got you, buddy. Nick, I gotcha. Sales managers. Okay, so now let's talk about my favorite use cases for sales managers of ChatGPT. Number one is personalized training. Leaders have not had time, probably in the history of sales leadership, to actually say, hey, I got a team of 10 people. They each have their own areas we're growing on. These are the areas they're good at. These are the areas they're trying to double down. It is nearly impossible for me to have the bandwidth to build out a personalized curriculum training plan for Jake and for Chelsea and for Erica and for Brittany and for Brianna. No more. Now, if I know that Chelsea and I are working on ABC, I can say, hey, I'm working with one of my direct reports on this. Help me to build an 8-week training program with 45-minute meetings. Give me a detailed agenda for each meeting that I can work with them on ABC. My friends, mind blown. And guess what, my friend? You don't need your sales manager to do this. If you have a skill you're working on, you can go do it for yourself. Go build your own plan, right, as a part of this. So think personalized skill development. And the cool part is too, if you're paying for ChatGPT Pro, you get memory. Jeff, I got you, man. We will make sure that you get a copy of that, the template. The interesting piece here is around like the personalized training. I think for a lot of you is just you can. I like to create quizzes. I like to have it create a lot of quizzes for me because then I learn it better myself, right? So it's like you could literally be like, hey, create the curriculum, create a detailed agenda, and do that. The next thing I'll talk about for my sales managers out there is onboarding. Onboarding. Okay, so if you're not thinking about, again, like role playing, getting up to speed, imagine, again, I have a custom GPT called my persona, or we've got one called cold call role play, and cold call role play is programmed with your buyer persona. It's programmed this. It knows its whole job is to role play, and you just click, I'm ready to get started, right? And it already knows you're a sales rep at this company. This is what you're trying to do, and you're trying to book a meeting. And so for a lot of you out there, again, I want you to just think about how much faster, again, could I get up to speed on an industry that I sell to with ChatGPT? How much faster can I get up to speed on what a buyer persona does with ChatGPT? How much faster, the other part of Triad, can I get up to speed on the industry, the job persona, and how we solve their problems than with this? So imagine most organizations need to reimagine your onboarding plan. We're in the process of doing this right now. My man KD has done an awesome job of this already. Definitely, I think he's already kind of ran with a lot of this. And here, let me drop this checklist again. If you're like, Jake, this is great. Here's like this quick checklist we developed. I dropped it in the very beginning, but go fill that out. I think it'll be helpful for you too. Another thing I'll drop here is, we've got these workshops So if you're interested in that, the community has a lot of other things, but we've got like a 101, a 201, a 301 that has a lot of these use cases. So, any of those, if you're someone who wants to invest, 20 bucks or something like that to get up to speed, that's how I would do it. But I want you to think about that again, don't worry, to kind of summarize some of these things, you know, don't worry about trying to do everything. There are a million different ways that you can use these tools. Focus what I'm telling you right now are the ways that if you use these are the highest leverage ways. We've analyzed again, there's a lot of other things that it can do, right? It can help you to have better one-on-ones with your boss, right? There's a million things that it can do, but don't get overwhelmed. Again, my SDRs and prospecting AEs thinking speed up research, right? And not just speed up research, like make me an expert. That kind of goes to number two for my SDRs and prospecting AEs, which is the triad, personalized messaging. There's absolutely no reason an email should ever be sent from your fingertips or your mouse click that doesn't at least say in publishing and HR leaders I work with, here are the top 3 trends that we're seeing, and I think we can help. Let's set up time to meet. The ability for us as people to put together relevant message at scale has never existed. And so if you're trying to generate more meetings, my friends, you have to use it to help you with that. That example that I gave. My AEs, I want you to think about this idea of one, getting up to speed, discovery call prep. And I also want you to think about scenario planning, helping you to close deals, beat the competition. So there's meetings that you used to go to your boss and say, hey, this is the scenario, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying don't still go to your boss. Sales leaders everywhere are terrified. What I am saying though, is maybe what you want to do is play it out yourself a little bit. Hey, well, what if they say this? What if they do that? So again, best reps already do this type of like scenario plan role play, but that's it. If I'm a seller, I'm like, this is going to help me. If I got to set meetings, help me, do better research, personalize things on the set meetings front. Just put my blinders on. It's going to help me to prep for my meetings like much, much faster, and then help me later stages to like think through things. And then my sales leaders out there, okay? There is no excuse. It takes, again, ChatGPT can put together that 8-week training program, and then I can spend a half hour customizing it. So if I've got 10 reps on my team, call it 45 minutes per rep, that's a whopping, 5 hours a month to create and tweak personalized development plans for every single one of them. So when we have our one-on-ones, when we have these things, I've got personalized training and ongoing programs for everybody. And then think onboarding. If you're a leader, or if you're a rep who's getting onboarded, onboarding is kind of shitty, right? Like, hey, great, teach me about this persona. Every day, I'm going to come in and ask you a question about the persona, and I want you to give me a new 10-question trivia on it. Teach me about this industry. So there's ways that you can, really refactor your onboarding plan. And I'm telling you right now, if you just went through onboarding, if your onboarding plan does not have generative AI in it, you are artificially. Yes, never start. What's interesting, Todd? I hope you're doing well. I struggle with not starting it that way just because I've done it so long. But I don't do as much cold prospecting. But yes, don't start the conversation with hope you're doing well. So for a lot of you, again, think about this onboarding that, if you aren't implementing, I'm just telling you right now, this is for all my CROs and my leaders out there. If you aren't implementing generative AI, you are extending your sales rep ramp period by probably double. And I know you might be like, yeah, right, Jake. It takes it takes 3 months, 4 months, 5 months for people to get up to speed. Bull crap. Why does it take that long? Because it takes them that long to learn who you sell to, learn your products, learn the value prop. If you implement generative AI, I can get you the same number of at-bats it used to take you 5 months into 3 weeks, because I can simulate conversations. I can help you to understand, so you don't need to go have 30 conversations to learn about it. I can teach you the basics, and then by conversation 10, you're already at proficiency. So again, if you're not using it for onboarding, you're just missing out. You are just absolutely missing out. So those are my use cases, right? Research, scenario planning, training and onboarding. Again, go back and rewatch this. If you want, like I said, I dropped a couple links in there. The workshop, just, the workshops that we have that are digital, they also come with our prompt library. So you get like 150 prompts that are revenue-based prompts. So if you're like, Jake, I don't know how to ask a question very well. Or again, if you're like, Jake, I don't want to ever have to prompt again. That's why we launched our GPTs for sales. So, you don't have to know how to prompt, just so you all know, like this is why I think ChatGPT is winning, is because they have custom GPTs, and custom GPTs allow me. Oh, here, I'll drop this link too. This is the work we're doing for companies. If you're an individual, you can just sign up. If you're like tired of your company waiting, you can just sign up yourself. If you are a CRO and you want to implement something like this for your company and have it customized, you can do that. Love it, David. I'm glad it's helping, man. And look, here's my advice. You go to ChatGPT, you can go and explore the custom GPTs. Go take a look at those things. These skills aren't skills that are would like to have skills. These are things that you all have to learn how to master. So again, I hope today, my goal is, don't worry about your generative AI strategy. Don't worry about, am I missing out? Am I doing this? From working with thousands of reps now at this point and having these conversations, I can tell you the use cases that I told you today are the most important to master. So focus on those, right? Don't get overwhelmed with all the other things you can do. So that's what I got, everybody. I guess maybe last thing I'll drop in here is on Wednesday, if you're not joining me and KD, what do you miss? You're missing out, man. I mean, it's just me and Kevin Dorsey just talking about, even going deeper and like the nerdier stuff. If you're like, Jake, this is good, I feel up to speed, and you want to nerd out, and you're like, how do I actually, like go to the 2.0? That's what me and KD walked through. So, Garrett, I'm glad it was helpful. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Everyone else out there, again, put the blinders on, focus on the use cases I gave you. Prep and research, personalizing with the triad methodology. Ooh, I need to call it the triad methodology. Ooh, I like that. And then, that scenario planning and discovery prep, and then, training and onboarding. So focus on those use cases. You're going to see a lift. Make sure to tune in every Monday. We'll see you all same time, 11 a.m. Central Monday, and we'll see you all Friday or Wednesday with me and my man KD. So thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.